What's up, guys? PowerManiac720 here, and I have for you Game 3 of the top 4 set I had at the West Hartford Premier Challenge against Matthew Coyle, aka En Fuego. We're going to get right into it. Game 1, I led Sun, didn't go very well. Ninetales just isn't strong against this team. And so Game 2, I end up going without Sun. In Game 3, I go more of the same. And I actually go with my really fast mode, which is Salamence and Terrakion. And immediately people are like, oh, like I heard people on stream saying like this is a really good lead matchup for Pyro, and I'm like, it's not really, because like yeah, I double edge the Conch, but then I lose Salamence to an Ice Beam, which really isn't great. So I Mega Evolve my Ments, and I just protect it, and I actually expected the Heatran to switch into the Conch spot, as he just goes for the Mach Punch onto Terrakion. And I close combat, and I get a crit here, which does a lot of damage to the Conch, which I was pretty surprised about. I mean, of course, the crit kind of explains it. As Crush just goes for the Ice Beam into Ments. So I kind of think, like, I kind of expect him to expect me to think he was going to Mach Punch. So I didn't go for a Protect or anything. I just went straight for a close combat onto the Conch Elder spot again. And I actually ended up picking the KO, and it paid off. So I figured I didn't mind losing Terrakion there. Like, I did mind, obviously, but I didn't really mind either. As Crush just goes with the Ice Beam into the Sylveon spot. And of course Sylveon is so especially bulky, it takes that so well. So Heatran comes in now, and I'm just like, I gotta get rid of this stupid Heatran immediately. So I go right for the close combat on it, get rid of that Chople Berry. And it does just over 50%, maybe 55%. And I actually doubled into it with close combat and Shadow Ball, because I figured he's gonna try and set up a sub, and he does go for the sub. And the Crush just goes for another Ice Beam, probably expecting me to switch, but I don't, and I actually survived the Ice Beam, luckily. And Shadow Ball knocks out the sub. So actually, if I had gone for the Hyper Voice there, I would have been in much better shape, because then I would have just avoided the sub and knocked out the Heatran. So Heatran protects here, which I actually end up calling, and I just go for the Rock Slide instead of the safe close combat. And it does like nothing to Cresselia. As Crest goes actually for the Swagger onto my Sylveon, which I was like, oh no, like why Swagger? And I hit myself. So this next turn actually was really big, because I could have just gone for the close combat and KO'd, but I'm like, well, Rock Slide's going to KO easily. And he actually avoids the Rock Slide, which ends up costing me in the end. If I had just gone for the safe close combat, I would have won the match. So Flash Cannon comes out onto my Sylveon, does a huge chunk of damage. Crest goes to the Psyshock and knocks out my Terrakion. And Terrakion unfortunately faints. But luckily, Sylveon is able to snap out of confusion this turn and hit the Crest with a nice critical hit Shadow Ball. And I'm really glad it crit. I guess it kind of makes up for the Rock Slide miss. But I mean, that Rock Slide miss was just so big. So I send in Salamence now. And I immediately go for the double edge on the Crest, because I kind of thought he was going to protect Heatran and Thunder Wave Salamence. And I just hate Cresselia so much. And then, so he goes for the Heat Wave, which of course he's going to knock out Sylveon. But I still think I have the match won, because I have Nidoking in the back. But then the Heat Wave burns my Salamence, and I'm like, oh my god. So like at this point, my only chance to win is to like flinch both his Pokemon a million times with Rock Slide. But that's why one of the reasons I run Rock Slide on Salamence. Like, now that it's dead weight, like, I can at least rely on it to get some Rock Slide flinches. Yeah, it was rough. Like I said, definitely the biggest mistake I made was not close combating that Heatran. If I had done so, then I would have had full health Sylveon, full health Salamence, full health Nidoking, and what was the last thing? And like very low health Terrakion versus Kangaskhan and Cresselia. So I mean, I would have, I think, pretty easily had it won. So he goes for the Sucker Punch on the Ments, which I'm so surprised it takes that. Like I said, Ments is so strong. So I go for the Rock Slide here, hoping it knocks out Heatran. And unfortunately it does not. And so I go for the Poison Jab onto the Kangaskhan as well, which does a nice chunk of damage, but not enough. As Heatran just goes for the Flash Cannon onto Nidoking, which does a little over 50%, and Salaman's Feigns to Burn. So, in hindsight, I should have just double-edged and Poison Jab the Kangaskhan slot, and then just worried about the Heatran after, because I know that Nidoking beats Heatran. Outspeeds and beats it. So he just returns the Nidoking and picks up the KO for the win. So I ended up coming in 4th place overall. I get no CP out of it because I need to make the finals now because of my best. I have 2 1st place and 3 4th place. So in order to replace the 4th place, I have to get at least 2nd place. Since 3rd and 4th give the same amount of CP. So I mean, it was a really good series and it was a really good learning experience, and I really learned a lot about the team. I think, especially playing against such high caliber players. Pretty much every round, I think all 5 rounds I played someone really, really good. Like I played the Fallbergs round 1 and 2. I played Paul Chua round 3. Yeah, I played Paul Chua round 3. I played Trista Medine round 4. And I played Jake Major round 3, Polytoad round 4, and Trista round 5. So I played some really solid opponents the entire night, or the entire day, which is really good. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I might be posting the other rounds at some point, so stay tuned for that. Until next time, guys, bye.